As I often say, one decision can change everything. One decision can change the direction of your life, the people you meet, and the opportunities that unfold in ways you never could have imagined. That happened to me many, many times in my life. And in this episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast, I had the pleasure of speaking with Teresa Hummel-Kralinger, a leadership consultant, speaker, author, and professional comedian who truly embodies what it means to follow the unexpected turns in life and turn them into impact. After spending nearly 2 decades in corporate training, Teresa made what seemed like a simple decision at the time. She signed up for an $89 stand-up comedy class. That one decision not only opened the door to a career in comedy, but it also has expanded the way she brings humor, insight, and connection into her work with organizations and leaders. Today, Teresa helps individuals and organizations replace chaos with clarity, create cultures where people feel valued and engaged, and take ownership of their careers. She is also the author of Make Waves, a powerful career pathing guide that helps people navigate the professional journey with intention. Now, during our conversation, we talk about connection, my favorite word, career direction, imposter syndrome, who hasn't experienced that, networking, and the importance of surrounding yourself with people who believe in your growth. As many of you know, helping people discover their own path and recognize the strengths they already carry within them is something I too am deeply passionate about in my own work as well. Through my consulting, speaking, and connection-driven approach, I love supporting people as they step more fully into their power and into their purpose. And if you'd like to dive deeper into the message of living with intention and impact, you can also check out my book, Today is the Day, Live It, Edge of Comfort to Center of Impact. It's myself and 30 other incredible change makers from across the globe coming together to share how they made a decision and stepped outside their comfort zone. It is now available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, Goodreads, and many other online retailers. And also don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Today is the Day Live It to stay connected with the change makers, the conversations, and the stories that continue to inspire this community. This was such a meaningful conversation, and I am so excited for you to hear it. And don't forget, kindness is free. Let's spread it. In the world that we're living in today, we need to feel more connected as human beings. Have a great week, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. I'm your host, Jody Hope Grinwald, and as I say every single week, I am honored and delighted to interview the changemakers, the inspirers, and those who are disrupting the status quo in the best way possible. And today, I'm so excited to have Teresa Hummel-Kralinger here. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, I am so happy. And we'll talk a little bit about how we kind of met in a roundabout way. And then we know some of the same people that aren't even on the same coast that we're
I
on,
know.
right?
Magical.
Crazy.
It's magical.
I love that word magical. Absolutely. It is magical for sure. Before we get started, I'm just going to read very short from your bio because I want to get into what I know is going to be a conversation that could probably last 3 hours, but we're not going to be able to do that. But I'm going to just read a little bit here. Teresa is a leadership consultant, speaker, author, and professional comedian, which I love, who helps people and organizations replace chaos with clarity. She's the author of Make Waves, a career pathing guide to stand out, stay employable, and sail ahead. And her work focuses on helping leaders create cultures where people feel valued, engaged, and inspired to grow. She's an Emmy Award-winning media contributor and longtime host of Philadelphia's Meet the Author series, which is how I met Teresa. And she blends humor, heart, and practical wisdom to help others live and lead with intention. So this is going to be such a great conversation. But we met because of Meet the Authors, because
Yes.
Today's the Day Live It just came out as my new book.
Yes.
And I want to thank Flo Ryan for sharing this connection, right? Let's
Oh,
give Flo a shout out here.
she is the consummate connector and the consummate go-giver. Bless Flo Ryan.
Absolutely. And so I met her through one of my other authors that are in the book, Janet Katsakis. And Janet, I believe you know Janet as well. So
Yes.
this is full circle moment by chance.
Yes. But you know what? I think people who are out and about and shaking the trees and making stuff happen, we know each other. We get to know each other. I think there's a magnetism. There's an energetic component to this that we connect.
I couldn't agree more. There, it is all about energy. Everything that
Yes,
you walk in a room, you can feel the energy of the room.
yes,
As soon as you and I started talking to each other, it was like we could stumble over each other's words because we were so excited about meeting each
yes,
other.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's
I'm
definitely an
I'm so,
energy thing.
absolutely. So Teresa, tell us, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in the same place where I'm living now, believe it or not. So, Borough of North Wales, love it. Went to St. Rosa Lima, our local parish, and I am still there. So I left. I moved to Lansdale. I moved to Willow Grove, but I came back to North Wales, and I've stayed. It's a wonderful little town to live in.
Oh, I know I've never been, but it sounds lovely, and I love
Oh,
little
it's
towns.
it's cute. It's cute, and it's close to Philly, so I can hop in the car. 45 minutes. I'm in Center City, so it's really really lovely.
I always ask my guests this question: what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my gosh, so funny. Um, I think originally I wanted to be a teacher. Because when you're little, you only know what you see,
Right.
right? So I wanted to be a teacher. But then as I got older and I was in high school, I really loved my science teacher. I loved her so much. And I looked around, and Merck is a stone's throw from my house. So people who worked at Merck seemed to have nice houses, and some of them had pools. And I thought, I would like a nice house with a pool. I too will work at Merck. So when I went to college, I was a biology and chemistry major. I know most people are like, "Are you kidding me?" But it was this mindset of, oh, I want to work at that company so that I can have a nice house with a pool. Like that is not a reason to select a major in college. But anyhow, I never did get to work at Merck. I've done contract work, but I never got a full-time job there. So I ended up getting a full-time job at Prudential because they were mass hiring back in the day. And I got in, and I ended up staying almost 18 years.
That's amazing. What did
I
you do
know.
for Prudential?
So when I first got in, it was just entry level clerical work. And to me, it was fun. It was like doing puzzles all day long. And they're paying me to do puzzles all day long. And then within about a year of me joining the company, I start training other people because I can't help myself but to train other people. Well, then there was an opening in the formal corporate training department. And my friends are like, you should apply. You should apply for that. Well, I did, and I got the job, and I was an assistant training specialist. And then they paid for my education. They taught me everything: instructional design, adult learning, putting together policies and procedures, eventually facilitation skills, doing computer based training back before it was e learning. So I really grew up in the field of corporate training, particularly with the introduction of technology. So, yeah, been
Amazing.
in it
Now,
a long time.
that's amazing. So I have a question, right? So you went to school with the learning of, science and biology.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation that you could think of between that degree and the work that you wound up doing?
Yes, because the scientific method, that whole thought process, is you have kind of a hypothesis. So based on what you know, you have a hypothesis, and then you collect data. And it either strengthens where you thought it was going to go, or it disproves it. So I think I use a lot of the research skills that I learned from science in the work that I do, you know?
A lot of people, they change positions and they're like, oh, it's nothing like what I did before. And they don't realize that they're utilizing the exact same
Oh,
skills, just in a different
absolutely.
way.
Yes, absolutely. And if we play Trivial Pursuit, I usually get the green wedge. So there it is. If anybody still remembers Trivial Pursuit, the green wedge was the
Science.
science cat. And I'm like, I can still remember this stuff.
You could do the science category on Jeopardy pretty well, I'm
Yes,
assuming.
yes,
Exactly.
I could still do it.
So where did humorist come in?
So this is just a bizarre twist. And I think, Jody, we had talked about sometimes there's something that happens and it kind of shifts your trajectory. So I'd worked for Prudential all those years. There was a reorganization, and I ended up getting a package to leave, and it was a welcome package. It was time for me to go. A lot of people, that when that reorg happens, it's unexpected and it's sad. I was longing for the day, and when it came, I got a little bucket of money, and so I had time on my hands for the first time in 18 years. I'm like, oh, well, Montgomery County Community College had a stand-up comedy class. This is 5 minutes from my house, right? It was $89, was an 8-week course, and you go every week and you learn how to do stand-up comedy. Now, my intention was not to do stand-up comedy. My intention was, as a trainer, as a speaker, it would be really awesome to weave more humor into my work. So that's why I took the class. But at the end of the 8 weeks, there's a graduation show. Your friends and family can't believe you're doing it. So you got your friends and family who come to the graduation show. And I did my 5 to 7 minutes of comedy, and people laughed. And I was like, wow, look at this. So I took another course, advanced stand-up comedy. Basically, you're just writing more. You're writing more material. So now I'm getting up between 10 and 15 minutes of material. At this point, I can now be a paid MC. So I end up trotting around the Philadelphia, South Jersey, Delaware area as an MC for all of these shows. And I've done it since 2002. So now I MC, I feature. It's just been wonderful. My friend base has expanded exponentially with comedians. I do get paid, so I get a little money for it. It's amazing. So that $89 course, that decision to spend 8 weeks in a non-credit course, shifted the trajectory of my life.
It's something I say, and it's in the book as well. The Today's Date Live It book is one decision will not only can change your life, it can change lives of people you've never even met or you'll never
Yes,
meet. So the people in your audience, you won't meet every single person, but you bring them joy and laughter and the opportunity to share your joke with a friend or someone that may be down. So now that ripple effect just continues from you standing on the stage from that $189 course. It's just incredible what one decision can do.
I know. I just did a show Sunday for deacons of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. So I had a room full of deacons and their wives. And I said to them that we share something in common in that we have a ministry. And this is my ministry. My ministry is getting people to laugh and to see things in a funny way and to lighten up and to kind of forget all the craziness of the world's problems. And in this moment and in these couple hours, we are just going to enjoy each other's company and we're going to laugh. And that is a ministry. It truly is.
It is. I love comedy. I can't wait to come see you. I know I'm going to try to figure out what date I can make it to one of your shows because it'll be so exciting to do so. While we're on that topic, where can people find you to see where your shows are?
So I have a website, Teresa HK Comedy. Teresa HK Comedy has all my shows listed. Some of them are private shows, but the vast majority are open to the public. A lot of them are in a Catholic gymnasium or all-purpose hall. I do a lot of church shows, a lot of church fundraisers. So I do work with Joe Conklin. So if people are fans of Joe, our sports radio celebrity, he draws a great crowd, and we always have a good show.
That's awesome. So how long do you now you remember I remember you saying you were able to do 10 minutes and now you feature. What is that? What's the length of time for something like that?
Oh my gosh, my sweet spot is 25 minutes, but I have about 35 minutes now of good content. But I love, if you give me 25, that's my sweet spot because I want to get
I
the most laughs per minute. I love getting a lot of, isn't that crazy? That's how I measure my content, laughs per minute.
Yeah, you need a laughometer, some sort of a
Yes,
laughometer out there, right? That's amazing. So now tell us about some of the other work because you're like me, what I say multi-potentialite, doing so many different things because we can't focus on just one. We have to
Of
do so many
course.
things to be change makers in this world. So give us the other piece. Obviously, speaking, coaching. Let's talk about that.
So my company is High Five Performance, and that has been around since 2002. So I started comedy then, started High Five. In fact, I incorporated on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. Probably no surprise there. But been around a long time, have had work all that time, good work. When I first started, we did a lot of work around performance management. It really evolved into training managers and leaders and creating organizational culture. So, really, full service, building the infrastructure, the people infrastructure in your organization. Some organizations have one HR person, right? And they don't have somebody who does organizational development or training. They tend to be the organizations that bring me in to partner with HR and their senior leaders to create an infrastructure that people want to work for their company. Yeah,
Right.
so I've been blessed. Do a lot of work with DISC, which is a nice, it's not a personality model. People say it's a personality model. It's a style model where you get to understand yourself and why you do the things you do. So I do a lot of work with DISC, management, leadership development, difficult conversations, negotiation skills. Yeah, so it's a blessing. I work with big companies, huge pharmaceutical companies, and then I work with organizations that have 50 employees.
And I know we do a lot of similar work, so I hope one of these days we could do something together. That would be
We
super
will.
fun.
Jody, it's going to happen.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to hear that. I would love that. Absolutely. And now tell us about your book because where can people find it and it's available where?
So it's on Amazon, of course. And I think that's where most of us get our books. And
Yes.
oh no, see, this is what's going to happen with my
There it
fake
is. Oh,
background.
it's
Make
so
waves.
pretty.
Do you know what?
So
This is, I have to share this story, Jody. So
please.
I've been dragging this book around in my head and on a manuscript for 10 years. I knew I needed to write the book, so I wrote it and then I polished it and I got overly perfectionistic about it. Anyhow, I had it in what I consider to be a normal book size. It was like a 4 by 6 book. And so when I take it to the layout person, I had a professional layout person, and she said, Teresa, what do you want this to look like? And I was honest with her. I said, I just had this vision of it being more like a workbook and having it be really aesthetically pleasing, that people are like, this looks good. This, like, it gives them a feeling of like hope and joyfulness and a sense of fun. But I don't know if we can do that. And she's like, we can do that. Let's make it a workbook. And she said, it doesn't have to be this little size. We can do like 8.5 by 11. And so she really took my vision and made it happen beyond my wildest dreams. Like it's a beautiful workbook.
I
And that's
love that.
because Hetty Sirico, who is my layout person, and she does a lot of my work for me. She is amazing, Philly girl, and yeah. So it is meant for somebody who wants to own their career for a lifetime and maybe can't afford a career coach, right? If you can't afford a
Mhm.
career, if you can afford a career coach, you're going to get a lot of the stuff that I'm giving you in this book. But if you're not going to a career coach, you can go through this workbook and it will take you step by step how to own your career. And it's in the model of a boat. That's why it's called Make Waves. So there's 4 parts to your boat. There's the rudder. The rudder is your career goal. That gives you direction, right? That's what the rudder
Mhm.
does. Some people say, T, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know what I want to. Well, that is fine. Then let's figure out your rudder. How do we figure out your rudder? What's your personality? What's your behavior style? What are your values? What are your interests? Take all of these assessments to get a sense of who you are. That's going to align you with jobs that are a good fit for who you are. So we start with find a rudder. Once you have a rudder, then we need to build the body of your boat.
Right.
Skills, experience, stuff you can do, problems you can solve. That's the body of your boat. Now, at my age, I'm like a battleship. I got a big, big hull. Been around, right? So, but if you're just out of college or you're shifting careers, we have to start building that hull. And then you want to look at your sales. Your sales are what people think of you. It's your brand, it's your reputation. So what contributes to your sales? Do you have any degrees or designations? Do you have certifications? Are you published? But frankly, what are the experiences you create for the people you interact with? So when your name comes up, what do people say? What do people feel? Your sales are all about your reputation and your brand. And that's an important component that nobody tells us about, really, other than go get your degree, and that's it. The last part of the boat is my favorite, and Jody, I know this will resonate for you. It's the motor, and the motor is your professional network. It's people who know you, who will connect you with opportunities, who will validate that you're awesome. We all need a strong professional network. So all 4 parts of your boat are important. And then I have people draw their boat in the book. Draw your boat. Do you have a big hull, a little hull, sails, no sails? Some people have a tiny motor. They got to work on their network. Some people have ever see those boats that have the big 2 motors on the back of them?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Some people, Jody, you're one of those people with the 2 motors on the back, right? So, but it's getting folks to look at their career in such a way that you are managing your career for a lifetime. This is not a once and done. You and I having this conversation, this is part of career management. It is. So there's a long-winded answer to that's what Make Waves is about, and that's why I was passionate to write it and put it out there for folks.
No, it's not long-winded. It's beautiful. And that's the thing. When you feel so connected to something, right? It's just you exude that passion. That's the magnetism we started the whole conversation with.
Yeah.
Is that passion, when we have it, people feel it and they connect with it. Those who need it connect with it. And then we just bring them with us on the ride, right? That's exactly why we wound up together on this journey right now.
Yes. Yes.
So to add more to your plate of things to do, you also run Meet the Authors, which is really one of the reasons why we even met in the first place.
Right.
So as we continue down the road of all the incredible work you do and all the helping and supporting and just like me, I say I'm a connection strategist. You're doing that for so many people and helping so many people. But you're also doing it for authors. So how did that come? I love the story around this because it's happenstance, and I don't believe things happen for no reason. They all happen for a reason. So let's tell the audience. By the way, I want to thank the audience of over 135 countries who download my podcast. So I just want to thank everybody who listens to the incredible change makers. And today with Teresa Hummel-Kralinger here sharing her incredible story. So tell us about Meet the Authors.
So much like when you started this podcast and probably couldn't envision it being as amazing as it is, you start with this humble idea, and if you stick with it and you do it well, it grows. So I joined the Pyramid Club, which is a private business club in Center City, Philadelphia. It is on the 52nd floor of the Mellon building at 18th and Market. It is a beautiful space with really, really awesome people. So I joined this private business club. So first I'm thinking to myself, who the heck am I to be part of this private business club? This is amazing. But I belong there just as much as anybody else. And I will say that now. So the first 6 months, I'm just loving the experience. I'm enjoying the people that I'm meeting, the time that I spend there. And I'm thinking, how can I do something for the club? What could I do? And then I thought, geez, I have 1 million author friends. I just have 1 million friends that have published books. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice? we'll invite an author and we can sit, like have a round table, and the author will just host a conversation. We'll buy their book, they'll sign it, and we'll have a great conversation. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm thinking 12, 15 people around the table talking about a book. So it started that way. My good friend Fran McNeil was my first guest. So she came in, she brought her book. I don't even know if we had 12 people. We might have had less than 12 people. But we did it every single month in person at the Pyramid Club without fail. It didn't park for the summer. It didn't park for the holidays. It was 12 months of the year, an author every time. The audience grew. So then the audience grew beyond the room we were in. So the Pyramid Club has been a great host. They're like, well, let's give you a bigger room. There were authors where we would have 100 people in that room. Yeah. It just got crazy. We did it every single month without fail. Then COVID. Then COVID. So we couldn't meet in person. So we did what everybody else did, and we went to Zoom. The blessing of that was now I expanded my author base beyond the local area, because you didn't have to be driving distance to Philly. You could be anywhere. So now I have authors from all around the country. In fact, all around the world. I actually have some international authors. So we do that until we can start to get back together again. But it's never gone back to 12 months in person. We have 4 or 5 in-person events per year, but I still do lots of Zoom author interviews. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience. In fact, not this Thursday, February 26th, so it's going to be past by the time people hear this probably. We have a nice in-person event with 3 lovely, thoughtful, motivational speakers, each of them amazing stories. And that's coming up in February. I do women's author panels, of which, Jody, you will probably be part of, which is amazing. And then we do theme panels. We do career panels, pulling together a sports author panel, because Philly's a big sports town. So I'm pulling together that. We've had humor panels. But
that's
so,
great.
and you would think, oh, Teresa, you must be making millions of dollars. No, I work at a loss with Meet the Author every year. But the reason I do it is I would not meet these thought leaders without Meet the Author. And that is rich. That is beyond any dollar amount. Having a person like you in my life is like, that is such a gift. So, and people who come to Meet the Author say the same thing. Teresa, I meet people there and build relationships for life. And I will say this, and then I'll stop.
No, please keep
So,
going.
Philadelphia Business Journal has a book of lists. We are in the top 5 best business networking in the city of Philadelphia. We are number 4.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
That's great, right? Think about it. You were hopeful for 12 people, and now you're number 4 in
I
a
know.
list, in a top list. It's totally incredible, and I do understand what it's like to do things at a loss, because the podcast has been like that it was like that for years, and because this interaction, even though there's a Zoom screen and a lot of people have poo-pooed the whole Zoom thing, I almost feel like I'm in the room with the people I talk
Yes.
to, even through this podcast, because I could still feel the energy. It may not be the exact same thing, but the stories are so good and the people are so amazing that
Yes.
I still feel that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoom is great. I mean, I think there's some trade-offs, but what I love about Zoom, we can keep it forever. Like we will have this conversation forever. So I love it.
Me too. Me too. And listen, if this was 1985, we would not have, God forbid it was, when COVID hit, we wouldn't have had this technology. There would have been total separation for a long time.
I can't even
So
imagine.
perspective is the key.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why I started the podcast during that time. It was for perspective. We were all kind of losing our minds a little bit about feeling so
Yeah.
separated. So
Yes.
this helps. This definitely helps. In a world where trust drives decisions and relationships matter more than transactions, disconnection is something businesses simply cannot afford. I'm Jody Hope Grinwald, a leadership and connection strategist, and my work is different because I don't offer just a single framework or surface level fix. I bring an entire ecosystem built on connection with me. I work across leadership, career transition, teams, and client relationships, helping organizations rebuild trust where it may be strained and design their work so disconnection doesn't happen in the first place. Because when one link is off, it affects everything, and sustainable growth depends on keeping those connections strong. To learn more or inquire about me speaking at any of your events, reach out to me at Jody, Jodi, at todayisthedayliveit.com. You know, people that may be listening may be saying, wow, Teresa's just this incredible person, because you are, and you're a powerhouse. And I don't feel that same way. And they may be thinking to themselves, does Teresa ever have imposter syndrome in her life? Has she ever experienced that? Does she ever experience that now? So I'm going to ask you that question.
I can't imagine that there's anybody that doesn't have that from time to time. I do. It's funny. This week I was engaging with several people, including you, and I thought, who am I to have these people in my life? Like, who am I? Like, I was talking, was it yesterday, with the former CEO of Virtua Health, who wrote a book, and he's going to be a guest on my show. And first of all, the nicest man you'll ever meet, Richard Miller. He's just lovely. But I'm thinking, who am I to be talking to the former CEO of Virtua? But I am somebody worthy of that. And it's really a matter of just being devoted to your cause, doing the work to get good at what you do, and you are worthy, and I'm worthy to know. I have to remind myself
Absolutely.
I am worthy to know. So, but yes, I go through the same thing where I'm like, geez, all these important, smart people. I was just talking, but before we got on our call, I was talking to a woman in Zoom about, I teach biostatisticians at a pharmaceutical company. These biostatisticians are all PhDs. They're like the smartest people on the planet. And I am leading a workshop with them. You want to talk about imposter syndrome? Like, but I bring something to them that they need. As smart as they struggle with difficult conversations. They struggle with negotiating to get their point heard and make change. So this is years ago, their boss said, Teresa, it really doesn't matter how smart you are if you can't make things happen. And that was why this whole workshop was started. So, but it's humbling. I'm like, these are all PhD scientist people. Oh my goodness. I barely got through calculus. And like, oh my goodness. So I think, I can't think that there's a person on this earth, maybe one, but I won't mention their name, that ever doesn't have imposter syndrome.
I will agree with you on this one. Yes, 100%. And it's funny because myself included, and even, it was hard for me to write and be vulnerable in the book about the fact that I did not finish college. Like that was my biggest gremlin, right? That was the thing. It's that I went through some, but I didn't finish. I didn't go to the end. I didn't get the degree. And so that always made me the person who had to strive that much harder, because every job I held, it was
Yes.
a requirement to have that bachelor's. So I had to find somebody within the organization that believed in who I was as a person and my ability, which how would they know in an interview? But I was
Right.
lucky that people did. So that imposter syndrome was blaring. Like, you're
Yes.
talking about, who am I to be interviewing people? Who am I to have a podcast? All of those things. And then I interview people like yourself, people like General Stanley McChrystal, and then people who are starting libraries and villages in Ghana, to help kids have books to read. And I said, we're just people.
Yes.
Degrees do not make us better as a human being.
No.
You could be the most meanest person, for whatever reason, trauma in your life that you might have experienced, but you may be pushing that out there and projecting that out there and be the smartest person in the world. But that
Yes.
doesn't give you the kindest heart. And I only want to interview the kind-hearted people. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be, you don't have to be smart, but kind-hearted. So so I try like you, I say, well, wait a minute, my heart's in the right place. It may not be the calculus whiz either, and I might not have
Yes.
finished, but the one thing I can give is my authenticity and my true belief in the fact that human connection, without we need it. Humans need
Yes.
connection in the right way.
Yeah. It's I could get on a stump about the whole
Me
degree thing.
too.
I could get on a stump about it. Um Listen, and years later, I will say I did go back to school in 2003 on a whim. I don't risk assess things well enough. I just kind of do something and I'm like, how the heck did this even happen? But I did go back for a year. Wharton has a program for chief human resource officers, and I thought I was trying to get one of the gentlemen that I work with. I was trying to get him to do it. Like, you should do this. This will be really helpful. And he said, T, I just can't. I can't do it. I just don't have it in me right now. So then, on a whim, I applied for it, and I thought they're never going to take me. They're never going to take me. And then I get this note, congratulations, you've been accepted into the program. All this to say, so I get accepted, then I have to pay for the thing. Oh my goodness. So out of pocket, because it's my company. It's not like I work for a big company. Anyhow, I go through that whole year. I'll be honest with you. I'm grateful that I did it. What do you think is my biggest takeaway from a year in a Wharton program? What is my biggest takeaway?
I'm not sure. That sounds almost like I'm wondering now because
You're
I'm
gonna
sitting
you're
here.
gonna know because you're living it. You're living it.
Connections?
Connections. Jody, that is my biggest takeaway from that class. If I'm honest with you, and I know there was a lot of content that was really good, half of it I don't remember because that's not how adults learn. We go through, we write a paper, we take it to, it doesn't stay with you. But you know what I got from that? Wonderful connections around the world. Some of the best and brightest human resource professionals in different countries here in the US. And on a whim, I can call any one of them. I can text them and say, hey, what are you doing with this particular business problem? And I have the best and brightest that I can write. We have a WhatsApp group and we all talk to each other through the WhatsApp group. And we'll put in there, hey, I'm putting together a policy on this. Or what are you guys doing with AI? How did you introduce AI to your organization? We've got there's probably 20 of us that are really active, but there's about 80 of us that all went through that program. So all this to say, it wasn't the content of the program.
Right.
It was the connections. And I'm not going to lie to you, having Wharton on your resume has some panache.
100%. It
Yeah.
totally has some.
Yeah.
It totally does. Yeah, it's interesting. So the one thing I did finish was I did go back to school for coaching. So I wanted to get a
Nice.
certification. I wanted to have something that the diploma thing was always the issue for me. So because I wanted to become a certified professional coach, I wanted to have, I didn't want to just call myself that because of my experience. I wanted to have
Sure.
some letters after my name, after, and acronyms, which I talk about the fact that titles should not define us anyway, but
Yes.
that's the way society is. So going back though, similar to what you shared, yes, we learned a lot, but what we went through was we got broken open in the class.
Yeah.
Because in order to be able to help other people break open what's going on inside themselves, you have to experience it first.
Yes.
And that was the best part of that takeaway. Yes, the connections I still have and all of that is not Wharton. But to me, being able to go through something and be able to then help somebody else do it too, that
Yeah.
kind of experience you don't get in making a PowerPoint presentation, that
No.
and learning how to do that or doing research, especially when you're in this industry of human connection.
Yes.
So we're all on different journeys, but it's what, we find that common denominator that pushes us together. And I think the word connection is everything.
It is. It is. Which is why I'm passionate about. It's why I put my book together. I'm like, you are always gathering people who you can help and who can help you. This is a mutual thing. This is I used to teach a class at Temple. It was a evening non-credit on professional networking. And the definition was, people who you want to help who want to help you. And this lady in my class is like, I disagree with that. It was really kind of funny. I disagree with that. And I'm like, oh, what do you disagree with? And she said, nobody wants to help me. Nobody wants to help me. And it was one of those moments where you're like, wow, what do you say? And I said, you know what? That's real for you. And I want to honor that. Can you be open to the possibility that this definition might be true? Can you just be open to the possibility? And she said, okay. But it is a mutual thing. It is. And what I find is people, for the most part, want to help. So, helping job seekers, right? We look at my LinkedIn network. Who do I know at the companies that they want to work for? I reached out to 10 people this week for one job seeker, 10 different organizations, 10 different contacts, saying, hey, I have a job seeker who is interested in working for your company. She wants to learn more about it. Would you be willing to do an informational interview? Within a few hours, 6 people wrote back and said, yes, I'd be happy to do that. Within a few hours, 6 people. And then hours later, 2 more came in. So 8 of the 10, by and large, people want to help. They want to help. They don't know this job seeker, but they're open to giving 20, 30 minutes of their time to help. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It truly is. And then the ones who don't want to, that's just not the people that are supposed to be in the sphere,
That's
right?
it. That's
And
it.
we keep going, but a lot of times people get stuck on the fact, I can't believe so and so wouldn't do it or didn't come back or
Right.
didn't email me back. You got to go to the next person. Like because we have
Yes.
feelings. We have feelings and they get hurt. But it's better to know. It's better to know than to have and the other thing is, I mean, we could go on for hours about expectations of what we
Yes.
hope people will do don't always mean
I
exactly
know.
what we want them to. But everybody, as long as we're doing the best we can. And the one thing I will say about networking, and you talked a lot about it, is I am so big on the fact that when you're networking, first of all, if you're in person, closing that circle, that circle that everybody does that, and then no new people can come in. But also, I've been in situations where, because I found in the nonprofit in the room, and I'm trying to talk to someone, they look past me. They don't want to see me. They want to talk to the head of the hospital, but they have no
Wow.
idea who I may know.
Right. Right.
And so
And
you don't know
that's
who
their
you're
loss.
standing with. That is right.
That is their loss. Jody, I see the same thing and I kind of chuckle to myself because you have no idea.
You
Yeah.
don't.
We are, and this goes back to, was it Malcolm Gladwell's book when he talked about the connectors and the mavens? We are connectors, and it's not even something that is a big effort on our part. It's just in our DNA.
Right.
And the value that we bring is not just our own experience and knowledge and skills, but it's the value of we can reach out to anybody in a minute and get more information on just about anything.
Right.
Anything. It's like, give me a problem. I know somebody. You know who we need to talk to? That's why I always feel, and that's another reason why I wrote the book. I want other people to feel the way I do. I mean, I don't have a degree in my field. Most people have who are doing my work or do masters and PhDs. I don't have a degree in my field. How can I confidently walk through this world because I know people? I know people. All I have to do is pick up the phone. Jody, you've been down this path. Help me out with this. And you will help me out with it.
100%.
That is the key. And the world has shifted. I don't want to poo-poo, college degrees. It's still a great thing and you'll make some friends and you will
Oh
learn some
yeah.
stuff. But I will say, the way the world is moving so quickly, And the way information changes and the way we have access to information has changed. It is more important for you to be agile, to be resourceful, to be connected than it is to have a lot of paper on your wall. It just is. So,
I, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Both my girls, I have one that's a teacher, the other one has her master's degree from Columbia, and the teacher is going to go get her master's degree. So I'm all for school. If that's what's for
absolutely.
you, if that's what's
Yes,
for you, I say it 100%. But I struggled with reading comprehension as a kid. I had my own struggles in my learning. So it wasn't the classroom was a struggle, more of a struggle for me.
sure.
Plus ADHD, obviously, because I like to do multiple things. And I'm okay with the fact that's my superpower. That's what I say.
Yes,
ADHD is my superpower.
yes.
Um, but they didn't diagnose that
I
way
know.
back when. And I wasn't hyper. My brain always found things to
My
think about.
God, we were separated at birth, Jody. And this here I am announcing it to the world. Recently diagnosed with ADHD. What's interesting though is because I've somehow found workarounds for that. Like we find ways, like using my phone throughout the day. So as I have meetings, I set up a 5 minute alarm before my meeting because I will miss the meeting.
Same.
So but I don't, I'm doing it because it's just how I have to work, but it is all part of this ADHD. And how do we finish projects? How do we get things across the finish line? It's an effort. That's why putting this book out and you putting your book out, it
Yes.
is so much bigger than just putting a book out. Wow.
Yes. I'm so grateful you said that because only people that are in that situation
Oh,
understand that
girl.
that that
Oh.
completion, my husband laughs because I have about 97 tabs open on my computer. And I don't, because I'm a CEO and co-founder of a nonprofit. I run the
Yes,
podcast, have the forum, have the book. All this stuff is all happening all at the same time. So there's something open for every single thing. I
yes,
don't know which hat I'm wearing, but one of the things I do with clients, I'm great to focus with them, and I can
yes,
keep them so
yes.
focused and move them methodically. But it's my own brain for myself that I struggle the most with.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
interesting. And I think I shared with you, I'm moving, right? So I'm
yes,
in the midst of packing. So I packed a little in this room and a little in that room. And my sister, who's the co-founder of the nonprofit too, she's the opposite. I'm more on the OCD. So I said, you need to help me because I got this packed, that packed in that room, that packed in the other room. Can you help me get a little more methodical with this? So that's it's
yes.
you find the workarounds, and that's exactly, and you kind of
That's
connect with people and surround yourself with
right.
people who can help fill some of those gaps that may. But the good part of that piece of the ADHD is, like you said, somebody calls me about, I'll have a phone call, like you just said, somebody who's a job seeker who needs to meet somebody. Then over here, somebody who wants to come to our gala, and over there, and I can keep up with all of it.
Absolutely. Right. And we see potential. We see like this is possible. And yeah, it is a superpower, but it comes with a cost. I mean, it's we do not work even just how people file papers. And I learned this at an early age. So we've been taught now. Not that we have a lot of paper now, because a lot of stuff is digital, but we would put them in folders and put it in a drawer, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
People with ADHD and right brain people, you may as well throw it away if you're going to put it in a folder and drawer. You may as well just set it on fire and burn it because you are never going to find that again in a drawer. Because what we see the world in stacks. We see the world in stacks. And what happens is we keep so if you and I know where things are. So if you said, T, remember the thing we did a month ago? I'd be like, oh yeah. And I know right where it is in my stack. And then I move the stack and I either put it in a bag or a box or a drawer, but I still know where stuff is because we see the world this way. Professional organizers who get this will set up your office in a way so that you can access things vertically rather than horizontally.
Oh,
This,
you sung my song right
I
there.
know, Jody, I know, I know. And there's nothing wrong with us. We just live in a world that files things differently than we do.
That was so beautifully put. And my piles, right? So my father, like, we never knew that. I mean,
Right.
down the road, I realized he had the same thing, right? But it was he was piler, and
Yep.
he was neat
We
in
are
the pile.
pilers.
The pile wasn't messy. It was a neat pile. But I'm telling you, so where it's always people always talk about my piles, and I do. I have the same thing as you.
Yeah.
I hate file folders. I'll never know what I labeled it. I'll
I
never
know.
remember.
I know. I am so grateful for digital filing because at least we have the search tool now. Now, of course, what
Yes.
the heck did I name it? I don't know. But it could be a number of things. But I'm going to be like, look at. But we can find things in digital files a little bit easier than we could um, with the other. But we are both successful women who are making things happen and doing well. We find a way to work with what we have. And I'm so grateful you brought this up because it's validating for me too.
Well, thank you. And you know what? Maybe we would just start. We talked before about we've got to do something together. Maybe this is it. Maybe we need to go and talk and do a panel on something related to this because we are not the only two people. My friend actually, and I love her, my friend Sandy, she's amazing. She won't kill me for saying this, but her and I, we were on the same page with the ADHD, but she always says to me, I can't believe you finished that. Like, I can't believe you finished the book. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe you finished what, because for her, it's hard to get to that completion. For me, I have the determination to keep going. For her, she'll start something new or she won't be able to
Yes.
bring it, like that completion actually is a stumbling block for her. But she wants to so
She needs
badly.
she needs a partner to drag it
Right.
across the line. She needs a partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so there's other people out there that are in the same exact boat as us. And I'd love to be able to help them feel like it's a superpower. I want to get shirts that say it. It's
Yes.
like that is my superpower. And it's funny, my doctor, when I said to him, I think I have ADHD, like this is only 2 years ago. He's like,
Yeah.
really? No kidding. And I'm like, why didn't you say anything to me? I said, have you thought
Wow.
about like helping me out a little bit with this? I've been dealing with this for years, like forever. I'm
It's a
54.
struggle. It's a
It, it,
struggle.
it's
There
exhausting.
is, and we'll think about this, Jody. We'll think about this.
All right, all
There's a
right.
group called Neurodiversity Employment Network. It's in Philadelphia,
Okay.
and it is exactly what it says. It is helping people who, um, it could be you're autistic, it could be ADHD, but it's helping those folks find employment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
and she's doing a wonderful, wonderful work. But there's an opportunity maybe to do a program on you can kick butt and have ADHD. I mean, you
That's
can.
great.
I think we do. Look at you. You've got a million things going on. I've got a million things going on, and they're all good. They're good.
They're
So
great.
that
Yes.
is the blessing. Although behind the scenes, it
The
it
gray
may not
hairs.
be
I'm trying to cover them up.
it may not be pretty. It may not be
They're not
pretty,
pretty.
but yeah, there's definitely a project there. We are not alone, Jody. There are so many people who have this gift, who are going through the same thing and just sharing the tools and just sharing. Here's how I got over the hump. Here's how I got that book finished. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I could talk to you for hours. I really, really, we'll do a follow up because this is too good. But is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience that is global here that you would like them to know about yourself, including your website? We need to have that as well.
All right. So my work website is highfiveperformance.com. There's some stuff that's not out there that I want to share. It's a new project that I'm working on that I think is going to take off, and it's based on Make Waves. It's based on my book. In organizations, people are craving career pathing. People are craving, like, I just need a little direction on this. So I have a program, several modules. One, to teach managers how to have career conversations with their staff, because they don't know how to manage their own career, let alone have it for their staff. So I have a module on that. And then I have modules that are meant to be taught internally in corporations to help people own their career, finding their rudder, right? Managing their personal brand. Absolutely huge. Building skills, knowledge, and experience, building your home. So that is my new project that I want to put out to the world because I'm doing it with one organization. It is amazing. And that I want this to grow because I want people to have what you and I have, Jody. This sense of it'll all work out. It's going to be fine because we're just doing the do.
100%. Even though some days are tougher than others, we still keep moving forward. We have, sometimes you have to take a little break with an ADHD
Yes.
mind, and that's okay. It's just
Yes.
don't get stuck there, right? We just wake up and keep going. And I love what you're doing. I'm so passionate about it because so many times people feel like I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to get there. I don't know what's next. As a man, when I was started out in management, I was thrown into this fabulous position, but
Yes.
I needed the help. And that's what, I love that you're doing it with clients. I'm doing it with clients. And it's so wonderful to see the growth and them go and do the things that they love to do and they find their path. That's our gift, right? As the people
Yes.
that are helping them through it. I always say that you have buried treasure in there. We're just here to help you dust it off so you can
True.
find it. It's
It's
there.
true. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you, my new friend. I'm so happy you're in my life now.
It was a good connection. It's what we talked about. Sometimes it's a connection and it changes trajectory for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Awesome.
Teresa,
Beautiful. Group
Teresa,
hug.
group exactly. And when you were talking about it before about the whole ADHD thing, I was like, I wish I could give you a hug. That was so well put. Teresa Hummel Krallinger, thank you for your time today. Thank you for all you're doing in this world. You are such a change maker. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. We'll get a project. We put it out to the universe. It's going to happen.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And I'm going to say what I say at the end of every single podcast. Today is the day. You cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So, what small or large steps are you going to take today to get yourself closer to your goals? Thank you again to all those who download, listen, and are part of this podcast. And if you can, please go take a read of Today's the Day, Live It. You can get it on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, Goodreads, online on many, many different retailers. It really is about sitting at the edge of your comfort zone. And when you do, you find yourself in the middle of the most incredible impact. Have a great week, everyone.